Grant, let us know, what did the running backs look like tonight? Who popped out? Who didn't?
Your boy Sean just gave you a $5 tip, man. You got
Yeah,
a
what's
nice
up?
system going on. Okay,
Thanks, Sean.
running back.
Nice job,
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Online show.
So Mostert played a little bit, but he got a little bit of like the rest treatment that Fred Warner and other guys seem to be getting. Jerick McKinnon and Tevin Coleman basically split reps with the starters. And what I'm seeing from Tevin Coleman is he looks a little bit more explosive than last year. I think whatever injury he had week 1 was.
Is that a Tevin Coleman compliment from Grant?
It was.
Oh my God.
He looked good today.
McKinnon
is everyone's been praising him, and he does look pretty athletic. But every time he carries the ball, it seems like he gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. I'm not expecting him to run the ball very much this year. I think he'll catch passes. I think he'll have a role in the offense and be the kick returner. But I think Tevin Coleman's a better running. Like, he's going to average more yards per carry than McKinnon. And then after them, it's going to come down to Hasty or Jeff Wilson Jr. And everyone likes Hasty. He's fun to watch. He's super athletic. He's small. He's got that little – he's not just a one-cut guy like everyone else on the team. He can make a bunch of cuts. But Jeff Wilson Jr. is good too. We've seen him in real games. He's a hell of a receiver. And he shows it every day. Today he caught 3 touchdown catches in the end zone.
What?
A swing route, a Texas route. He's really good. Got good hands, big target. So I wouldn't write him off. I think Wilson's done enough to stay on the team. And as much buzz as Hasty's generated locally with press, I don't think anyone would pick him up off waivers because no one's seen him in a preseason game. So I think he'll make the team soon, but I still think they'll put him on the practice squad to start. But it's a very, very strong unit, mostly because of Tevin Coleman.
Grant, hold on, Grant. I just wanted to add this. I don't want to cut you off. Salvin Ahmed was nowhere to be found, and Miami immediately scooped him up. Right. I think if Hasty gets out, I'm afraid Hasty's going to get out there and someone's going to go ahead and bring him in.
Well, that doesn't mean Ahmed's going to make the 53-man roster.
No, it doesn't. But he'll get claimed. I think he'll get claimed.
They got it. Look, if they cut Jeff Wilson Jr., he'll get claimed too. So they got a decision to make.
Straight up, yeah.
For sure.
Okay, before we exit from the running backs to the fullbacks, we're gonna go in a circle. JaMychal Hasty or Fred or Jeffrey Wilson Jr. I'm going JaMychal Hasty.
I'm going with Wilson Jr.
Give me Wilson too. It's the goal line back in him. You know, like he's shown that like he's tough like on those in the red zone, and I think that like you said, it's very underrated as a receiver. So I just and then again, it all boils down to who do you trust. Like if you had to throw them in a game right now, not seeing them in game speed, it's gonna be Wilson over Hasty probably. Yeah,
Wilson played for you and played for them in the Super Bowl. Hasty hasn't even played for them in a preseason game yet.
There you go.
It'd be tough. I mean, I would go with Wilson. The thing about Wilson, he's not only is he excellent in the red zone as a runner, he's excellent in the red zone as a receiver. He had the game-winning touchdown catch against the Cardinals on that little Texas route in the red zone.
Only snap of the game.
Yeah. So I like Jeff Wilson Jr., but I always root for players like him. The guy who's been on the practice squad and everyone wrote him off. So I like his story. So Jeff Wilson Jr.
Right. Nice.
Sorry, Dre.
You're on mute, Dre.
You're on mute.
He put himself on mute. That's how.
You're on mute.
Dre, you're on mute.
There you go.
Grant taught me really well. You have to have a different perspective.
We do.
You
might be right. You might be right.
And you know what? If you are, then
good. Yeah.
Call us out.
You made a good case.
No, most definitely. All right, so let's move to the fullbacks. We kind of heard a little bit about Josh Hawkett already. We know Juice is saving himself for the first game. He's going to be. I think everybody's going to be ready for the first game of the season. They just literally just shut everybody down, right? So
my hamstring hurts too.
I want to hear how Josh Hawkett really looks. Does he really look like a guy who could possibly come in that fullback position and then like the next 2 years and like be a really really good balance?
I think he could. I think I watched his tape from Fresno. I thought he had good tape, and I thought he was like a good runner. Like Juszczyk was a tight end at Harvard, and he's not that good of a running back, even in short yardage stuff. He's a great receiver, but I think this Hokett guy, he's a little bit smaller though. I think he's like 235. Seems like you can look at a rookie and be like, he doesn't really have an NFL body yet. Like School was that way last year, Brunskill was that way, but it just means they need a year or two in an NFL strength and conditioning program. I think he's quite promising, and it seems like they're definitely viewing him as a developmental fullback that they I don't know if they're counting on him to start next year because I do think they'll bring back Juszczyk, but I think they're looking at someone who they could develop into a starter at some point.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So a developmental guy that we could look forward to that looks like he has
like a pet project, someone that they're not just going to give up on. I think they like him a lot.